Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. The three, steps back, crossover, puts up a three. Rebound James. Second. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Buzzer beater win.
First
Jake
one all
Johnson,
year.
nail on the head. Unbelievable. Welcome to another edition of the Block, the Shot, the Stop, a Cleveland Cavaliers podcast brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast Network. He's Tim Daniel. I'm Skylar Webker, and we love to talk about a Cavs win, especially one in dramatic fashion. Really a dramatic ending to this game, period, but beyond just the buzzer beater.
Yeah, there's a lot to get into from this one. And I feel like if you just talked about the last 5 minutes, we could do a whole podcast on that.
We were texting in our group chat, like, are we going to get another Malice at the Palace?
Dude, okay, so I'm probably jinxing us with a couple games left for the All-Star break. But tonight was the 51st game of the season for the Cavs. 51 games have all ended in regulation. We have not had an overtime game. This was
Dude, you better knock on some wood.
I was telling Grace, I'm like sitting there watching the game with Grace, and I'm like, somehow, some way through this whole season, we have not had an overtime game yet. And she's like, and then she like the Phantom foul call on Cunningham to get the 3 shots pops up. And I'm like, I may have said that too soon. And then
Such a light call.
And then Darius Garland says, nope. From
the logo.
Buddy, full speed, full stop, chucks it up, and then just like this crossing his arms at the end. There was a lot of emotion in this game. You could tell from both teams, and not just that scuffle there, but the whole night was really physical. Especially Detroit makes that comeback in the third quarter to really kind of make it a game. It sounds like this was the first time JB and his former players kind of had some tense moments as well. So
yeah, they got into it there at the end. Ooh.
Yeah. It was if you're not a Cavs or Pistons fan, it's a really fun game to watch as a basketball fan, but obviously if you're a Cavs fan, you're very happy with the results, but it was a little close there for a little longer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was kind of a game where nobody really pulled ahead. There was never it just kind of felt like an even matchup throughout the whole night. I don't know how much of that is just, no Donovan Mitchell, kind of the game right before trade deadline, guys either showing out and playing harder so that they can kind of last chance to prove before the trade deadline to maybe get moved somewhere.
I mean, the Pistons made a deal during the game, so
yeah, in a 5-team, but it's the whole situation sounds fluid
back down to 4.
Yeah,
Toronto dropped out, so
yeah, which is I guess I haven't been on X too much to see kind of the details of that. Something about Kyle Anderson.
Yeah,
they just dropped out just out of nowhere.
I'm really curious to see. This is the thing I hate, and I understand why you have to do it. As far as reporting, is Shams just puts out the tweet with the image. Jimmy Butler traded to Golden State for, Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, Dennis Schroeder, and a pick. No, that's not even put out there yet. We're strictly only know this is the first thing that comes out. So you're like, okay, cool. And then it's, and Utah's added to the deal. And then it's, and Toronto's added to the deal. And the Pistons are getting guys. And it's like, can we just wait? I understand this like rat race to like be first, but can we just wait till we get all the details and then put this out? So that way, I'm the guy who, when I play 2K, I update the rosters as they go because I don't want to keep battling a new franchise file. So I would really appreciate if you just gave me all the details at once. But
I don't understand who's racing against though. Because it was always a 2-horse race, Woj and Shams. Now it's kind of just Shams.
Yes and no. I mean, Shams is the guy, but Chris Haynes for your, for TNT, Yahoo guys, things like that. It's kind of, yes, Shams is the guy. I mean, Shams freaking repeated was the one that reported Joe Biden backing out of the presidential the election. So
wild.
it's wild. But I mean, like I've said, so they made a deal during the game. And I think they actually got some pretty decent players for where they're at in their current state of their franchise. But we can get to that in a little bit. Let's talk about this one because this was a game.
Yeah, and you said like guys are kind of playing with. They were very physical tonight, playing with a little bit of frustration. Part of that could be, the just kind of the bad taste in their mouth from the Celtics game. I think a lot of it has to do with the trade deadline. I think guys are feeling itchy. Guys are feeling antsy. Obviously, they're seeing the same rumors that we are, if not hearing more information than we are. I wonder if that had a lot to do with, especially Jared Allen, because some of the more even-keeled, cool, chill guys picking up a flagrant 2 tonight, which is very uncharacteristic.
Wasn't that baller though? Like he just like full on like lays the shoulder in, just walks to the Kajula bench and just sits down and is like whatever, and then it's just standing there waiting for the reaction and like waiting for the call. Like I thought that was, I mean, you could tell like because Paul Reed was really really physical with Mobley through the night. It was really kind of like those two guys were going back and forth when Paul Reed was in the game. And Skyler, I love my Big East kids, but Paul Reed was out of line tonight. And then I don't think Jalen Duren was necessarily like playing dirty by any means, but those two dudes for sure were having battles. I mean, Allen only had 6 points tonight, but he was really good as far as a playmaker. He was a really good rebounder. So yeah, man, I mean, that was like crazy. And then Tristan Thompson being Tristan Thompson, arguing with Jarrett Jack of all people. You're like, what is going on?
Like you mentioned, like barking at JB and his coaching staff, who a lot of were former Cavs coaching staff, and it's like there seemed to feel like there were other storylines going on in this game.
Yeah, there's a lot to get to, and we're 7 minutes in, and we haven't even mentioned the fact that Max Strus caught a body tonight.
Yeah, that was awesome. And for like it started out with like who dug it out? I think it was Garland dug it out, got it to Allen, and then Allen threw it to Strus being the trailer, and he caught a body. Woo! He got up there. Not as much as Donovan Mitchell last night against Porzingis, but I'll take it.
Donovan Mitchell not being in the game was almost as much fun to watch as Donovan Mitchell in the game, just from his like reactions on the bench throughout the game. Like when Garland gets like technical in the fourth, and you see Mitchell like just about basically to the box.
Yeah.
And he was awesome, man. We should probably talk about what happened in the game though, right? Overall. I mean, there's that's what we're here for, right? It's just much drama happened coming off this Celtics loss and winning the way they did. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, you got all that. Plus you got, like I said, we're on trade deadline eve. Yeah, you got a lot of other things going on around the league too. So there's kind of a lot to talk about. But I guess we could curve it back to the game. Let's start with Evan Mobley having a great bounce back after kind of a clunker last night against Boston.
I don't know if I'd say kind of. That was a clunker, man. So to see him bounce back tonight, I think we kind of expected that was going to be the case going against the Pistons. Like you and I said yesterday, I mean, Tobias Harris is going to be guarding him for quite a bit of this game. And Tobias Harris obviously didn't finish the game, which hopefully everything's okay there. But when he was in there, he had no answer for Mobley. Mobley did what he did as a 3-level scorer, and that's when he's at his best. And that's when the Cavs are at their best, when Mobley's scoring from all 3 levels. And you saw that tonight. So 30 points overall, like you said, hit a couple threes. Defensively had 4 block shots. He was a menace tonight. 39 and 7 with 4 blocks and 3 of 5 from 3. But my biggest thing tonight, 7 of 8 from the line tonight.
That's what we need. We gotta get back to caring about free throws because it felt like for a while there we were slipping.
Yeah, they were 20 of 24 tonight as a team. I mean, that you win by 3, you only miss 4 free throws. So
yeah, I mean, it feels good. Like you said, I kind of wanted him to get a triple double. Like how great of his like rebound performance would that have been? Like, granted, they're the Pistons. Nothing to them. They're an up and coming team. They're not Boston. So it would have been real good to see a triple double tonight from Evan Mobley.
Yeah, it would have for sure. I wouldn't be shocked if he has that against Washington, especially after the deal they made today, because who's going to be guarding Evan Mobley? Alex
Yeah,
Sarr.
Valanciunas is out.
Yeah, Alex Sarr is going to be down there like, all right, I guess everything's up to me tonight. So
Good luck.
yeah, which I do like Alex Sarr. I think he's been much better than I expected him to be, but that's besides the point.
Let's move on to somebody who didn't really have a good performance tonight. Karis LeVert, 0 for 8 on the floor. Really only gave us 2 rebounds and a steal. Not Karis LeVert's best showing, especially sitting in that starting lineup with Donovan Mitchell getting some rest.
Yeah, back-to-back clunkers. 2 straight nights where he's a combined 0 of 13. That's surprising, albeit he was hurt for a long time, so maybe he's just kind of get back into game form. But very, you laugh, you joke all the time about the Karis LeVert 40, then 1 the next day. It's very rare to count on 2 straight zeros from Karis LeVert in a game. So kind of was shocked by that, but also thankfully didn't end up needing him down the stretch, and that was good. You saw crunch time was Max Strus in that spot with those guys. So thankfully it turned out that, Karis LeVert wasn't a necessity tonight, but it could have been much worse for sure.
Yeah, you bring up, thankfully not needing Karis LeVert in tonight's game. And I hate to keep bringing it back, but out of all the guys whose names are out there on trade, Karis LeVert's name comes up the most from the Cavs. So I mean, they're all human beings. So it would bother me. It would get to me
for sure.
So I wonder how much of that is playing into that piece of it.
I don't know if it is for them. I understand what you're saying, but I feel like when we all look at this team big picture, I don't think any of us are really freaking out about this roster looking completely different tomorrow.
I don't know if we as fans are. It does seem like, some of the comments Jared Allen made after last night's game in Boston saying, like, this is the team. Like, if you get rid of anybody, like, you're going to mess the chemistry up. Donovan Mitchell had some comments today, like, Kobe's going to do what he's got to do, and we're going to adjust. But
yeah, it's our job to adjust. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it does seem like that they very much they're taking the locker room chemistry very seriously. But like we said last night, like, yes, it's important, but it shouldn't be a reason you don't make moves. Like it shouldn't be a stopping factor for improving the team.
Yeah. And I'm sure, I mean, if something does happen, we'll probably hop on here tomorrow and do a show. But
something big's got to happen.
Right. Yeah. We're burning the candle at both ends. Your wife's in the chat right now. She can attest to this. So, right? So yeah, but it could be. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't really think they're going to make some major move. Could I see them going out and getting like a DeAndre Hunter, like we talked about last night? Sure. I'm not counting on it though.
I mean, here's the thing though, like with the moves that we've seen, it's a super down market. Super down. I mean, 1 first-round pick for Luka, 1 first-round pick for Jimmy Butler. I don't think any first-round picks were in the Valanciunas deal.
Yeah, which is weird because this is like a really good draft.
So, I feel like and part of that has to be, the aprons and the tax and people,
for sure.
People just kind of want to unload salaries. I mean, we saw New Orleans literally give a guy and draft picks away just to duck the tax.
Yeah.
So,
which is funny because New Orleans definitely has guys teams would want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just kind of did it just to, and I think we talked about, their plan. Their plan is kind of just to, hey, wash themselves this year. It was just a bad injury-filled year. We'll get them again next year. But I feel like with a down market, and maybe it's not the time to sell in a down market, but for the Cavs' perspective, this would be the time to make a move because you don't have a war chest of assets like Utah or OKC or anything like that. You can kind of get guys for a lot less draft capital than previous years.
Okay, so I'm going to further on your point here for discussion about the game tonight. Was tonight Craig Porter Jr. auditioning to stay in Cleveland, or was that maybe like a, hey, other teams, I can get some minutes for you. Look what I did tonight, because he was awesome. He was incredible.
16 points.
He was great.
Yeah, 16 points in 16 minutes. How's that for efficiency?
Was like perfect till his last shot, I think. What did he go, 8 of 9? But he hit his first 8?
6 of 7.
Okay, so yeah, 6 of 6. 6 of 6 to start the game. That's right. He was great, man. Especially with not having Mitchell tonight, he really did a great job taking in those minutes. Especially with a down night for LeVert. So it was a good one.
Yeah, and that's, I think that has a lot to do with how Kenny views guys. He really puts confidence in these guys. Something that I don't think we've ever seen ever in a coach in Cleveland, like somebody who puts crazy amount of confidence in guys that are on two ways.
Yeah. Craig Porter Jr. is an NBA player for sure. He's not just there to be there. You're right. Like, and Kevin and I have talked about this with just how high we've been on him, and you and I have had discussions on him. Obviously, he's a guy who's really earned his keep this year. So when it's been his time, he's played really well. And tonight was probably his best game of the year. I know. So there's the people are going to say it's the Pistons, but those guys also have an NBA logo on their jerseys too. So you just got to kind of deal with who's out there.
Are we sure the Wizards have an NBA logo on their jersey?
Shouldn't. They shouldn't. I don't know. I think, man, that trade today was terrible. I don't know who got
the Valanciunas one.
No, well, that one's not great, but the Middleton Kuzma.
Oh
trade.
yeah. I forgot that one.
that was at 10 a.m. Keep up.
My bad. There's a lot of movement this year. Like we're not usually we see this movement like right at the deadline. So many moves are getting done earlier and earlier, which
this in July 1st.
Great.
Yeah, makes it fun. I think the league probably needed a little bit of this to kind of get some eyes back on it, but it sounds like Durant's not going to end up going anywhere because of the Butler deal. So
maybe.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Wouldn't it make sense? Like Phoenix hasn't shown the ability to do anything this year.
Oh, they're terrible.
So you're already a second apron team. Doesn't it just kind of make sense to tear it down?
Wouldn't like Durant going to Miami have been awesome? Not for the East, but just like even awesome in Miami. It's like, they've had every great player of the 2000s, so they might as well get him. So,
I mean, how much different is Miami team-wise than
Phoenix?
Phoenix right now. I mean, to me, they're kind of about
pretty comparable.
The same.
Yeah, they're pretty they're very, very comparable. You're right. Probably make the case that you'd rather have Bam and Hero.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You could make the case for sure that you'd rather have Booker. So, but no one wants Bradley Beal, and that's why we're in the situation we're in. So, Bradley Beal doesn't want to go anywhere either.
They're stuck with him. He's so weird that full no trade clause for that guy.
Yeah.
We're getting so far. We're Cavs.
It's deadline day, man. It's deadline night. If all goes as planned, we aren't going to be on the air tomorrow. So get it all out.
Yeah, I mean, Craig Porter does entice people. I mean, he's low money, lots of control, which and like you said, he is an NBA player. Yeah. So I think the Cavs could get that could be a sweetening piece to get any deal done.
Yeah, he could look good in Brooklyn if they go get like a Cam Johnson. So
Cam Johnson, Hunter. I'm down for Hunter. I think, Luca from Real Cavs fans, he put something out like the two guys are on similar contracts. They play a similar style of ball. For the Cavs, it's really who's willing to get to kind of give a little bit of a deal. Like who's willing to sell. And that right there would be the deciding factor.
Yeah. So I'm really curious to see what it looks like. Like I said, if I had to bet on it, I would say the roster is still the same tomorrow at 4:00. But could a move happen? For sure. Like Kevin said too, could they be the third team to make some salary cap out and picks work for somebody? Sure. They've got, but we'll see, man. It's gonna be really fascinating. What do we got now? 18 hours.
I think they'd make move. I think I think LeVert is definitely in whatever the move is. And not because of poor play, not because we don't want him. He just seems like a victim to his contract. He's a free agent at the end of the year. The Cavs don't have full bird rights on him. They could only he's partial restricted. And it's no secret that the Cavs are trying to better their team and duck the tax. So I think LeVert eats a lot of whatever you bring in contract wise. You pair that with, say a Niang or, maybe a Dean Wade that can get you, that money wise gets you DeAndre Hunter and under the luxury tax. So now you extend your window financially. You get a piece that helps you right now. I feel like it's if a deal can get done with those parameters, it's irresponsible to let vibes prevent that.
No, I completely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I just have this feeling that with where they're at cap wise, like you're right. Yeah, if there's a deal to be made, Caris LeVert will be in the deal. My big worry is that people aren't jumping at the bit to get Caris LeVert is where I'm kind of so you are looking at the Atlantas, you're looking at the Brooklyns at that point. The Washingtons, which I don't know. I don't think they have any players I really want the Cavs to get, but there's something Utah. Yeah, I don't think they really have any players I want the Cavs to get either. That's going to make them better. I don't want John Collins. I want to back up big, but I don't want John Collins. So yeah, I mean, you're right. You kind of laid out all the cap breakdown, how it could work for them. Sure, for certain, so certainly it's a possibility. I just feel like it's something where I don't know if they're going to get like I said, it's going to have to be a big fish for it to be one of those things. So I haven't checked to see if they're still the betting favorite for Cam Johnson. If I had to pick between the two, I probably would lean more DeAndre Hunter. But if it is Cam Johnson, I'll be content. I'll be pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
Did you see the comment we had on last night's show, by the way, on YouTube, that someone said we should get Brandon Ingram?
No, thanks.
Yeah, I'm good. I like him.
He makes so much money.
He
makes so much money.
And he doesn't play basketball. Like he wears a uniform on occasion, but he has to play basketball games. Right.
When healthy, I think he is a top 15. You could argue to me top 10 player in the league. I don't think the Cavs have.
Hold on. Do you think healthy Brandon Ingram's a top 10, 15 player in the league?
I think so. I think he's a good stretch. I mean, he can play the 4, play the 5, hit the 3. He's that lengthy, athletic big that we love to see. I just think health has been abysmal for him in his entire career, not just this year.
99% of the time, I agree with you. I can't give you that one.
No?
I can't give you that.
Where would you put him in the league?
I mean, if we had longer than 35-minute show, I could probably name 20 players better than him.
All right, so top 25 player in the league?
Maybe. Might be 30, 35, but he does have an all-star game. I just feel like, he's definitely been overhyped since he got drafted. Part of that had to be he got drafted by the Lakers, sure. But he was getting Kevin Durant comparisons when he got drafted. Like,
I mean,
we need to calm down.
I think that part of that is just the build.
It is. That's like Ben Simmons was compared to LeBron. Like, we need to calm down.
Okay, yeah, I remember Colin Cowherd, like, we're good, LeBron. We got Ben Simmons league now.
Yeah.
Such a bad take.
Yeah, didn't age well.
But aside from however anybody feels about Brandon Ingram, I don't think the Cavs have a single player that could get the money
Unless you're
that
trading
you'd be willing to part with. Like
Exactly.
you'd have to give up
one of the core
like
four.
Darius Garland
Yeah.
to get a Brandon Ingram, money wise.
I don't want to think I would give up Darius Garland for anyone right now.
Not after hitting that half court buzzer beater.
Even before that, like I don't think like there are certainly better players. I'm not saying that but with how well him and Mitchell are playing throughout the season together, I'm all for not letting chemistry be the reason you don't make a trade, obviously. But I would do everything I possibly can. The Cavs already have, obviously, to keep those two together.
Yeah, I mean, I think outside of your core four, I think you want those core four to have the chemistry. But once you get into like bench pieces and, is 2 months of Tristan Thompson worth staying in the luxury tax for?
No. We already know.
He's a great vibes guy. I love the post-game interviews he does with Georges Niang. But guys, I mean, we just got to be realistic, like in the sense of we want this team to get better. There are holes in this team that need to be addressed. You can't let vibes block that. You can't use the Care Bear stare and the power of friendship.
Yeah, but I do still love when you make those references. So
I know, because they're great references.
They are great references. They really are. Anything else in the game you want to touch on before we kind of get to the moves around the league today, and then get to we got to talk about TJ Maxx. He was pretty great tonight.
We do have to talk about TJ Maxx. Before we do, we need to start a petition, call your senators, call your congressmen, get a bill passed to stop hitting Darius Garland in the face.
Yes.
Holy cow, dude.
Enough is enough.
My Lord. I don't understand how he's getting hit in the face more than anybody else in the league, dude.
Like boxers are getting hit in the face as much as he is.
Jesus Christ.
UFC fighters are like, dude, that guy gets hit in the face a lot.
What he sat for like 10 minutes just because he got whacked in the face. And I feel like it's every game, and every time it happens, my whole body tenses up. And I don't want to go back to last year where he is losing weight and drinking through a straw and just felt miserable for him. Stop hitting Darius Garland in the face.
Yeah.
Or Moondog's coming for you.
I was saying he's going to have to go hang out with Stipe. Stipe's going to have to be his bodyguard.
For real, dude. Like, what the hell's going on? Reggie will come after you. Moondog, I don't care who we have to stick after you. Yeah. Stop hitting him in the face.
There's a clip for tomorrow. That's right there.
All right. So, petition aside, again, everybody call your congressman and tell them to pass that bill. Call Adam Silver. I don't know what you have to do. Call somebody. You're right. Ty Jerome, fantastic game tonight. I love seeing him contribute. I always get worried though. The nights that he doesn't contribute, it feels like the whole bench doesn't contribute. Do you get that feeling?
Yeah, he kind of just feel like the leader of the pack.
And yeah, that was an issue that we saw last night in Boston. The bench really didn't contribute at all, other than Sam Merrill. But it feels like Ty Jerome has to stay on for anybody else to be efficient in that offense. That's concerning to a point. But I don't know how you address that other than tell the guy be 100 every night.
Yeah, but I mean, at some point they're only going to go 8 deep. You know what I mean? So at some point it's just going to get down to, I mean, really tonight, other than Porter, you kind of saw a glimpse of what the playoff rotation could look like, barring any moves. Take LeVert out there, put Mitchell in, obviously. And then Niang, Merrill, Jerome, LeVert, 3 of those 4, barring anything happening tomorrow. That's probably what you're going to roll with when you shorten your rotation. There's that group there. Sam Merrill's gonna obviously. I mean, he was good in the Celtics series last year. So you're gonna want guys like that who can hit shots in the playoffs. So I think we're kind of getting a bit as much as Kenny Axe has been big on playing an extended bench. As time goes on, you're gonna see that get shorter and shorter.
Are we sure though?
I don't
feel
know
like Kenny's
how.
gonna roll with this.
Yeah, I talked about this with Kevin in one of the episodes last week where I said, like, Jalen Tyson's going to make it hard to be benched. But when it comes to the playoffs, I don't know how you can play him over, like, in what situations you can play him in. So,
Agreed.
yeah.
Agreed.
Love him.
Yeah,
Absolutely love
do
him. Think he's future core guy, but
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it will shorten, but I don't know if it shortens to 8.
I think so. The finals teams, I think, played 7. No, obviously it's a completely different era, but yeah, it was like, yeah, especially the 17 and 18 finals teams, they were super short. So
Yeah, I mean, you also had LeBron playing 48 minutes of basketball
yeah,
each
there's
game.
that. There's that. Like I said, whole different era, but oof, man, poor guy.
It's incredible, his longevity.
Yeah.
All right.
Is he coming back to Cleveland?
That's what everybody said.
Is that the
Everybody
trade?
said, like,
Is that the trade?
trade. They're going to need a big trade Jared Allen for LeBron. And it's like,
Let's come
well,
back.
there's a full no trade clause, and you still can't make that money work. It's still going to cost you more than Jared Allen.
And you're going to bring Bronny on.
Yeah, exactly.
Bronny also has a no trade clause. It's just not in his contract.
He's got a bubble around him.
Yeah, right.
All right. Before we go on for 2 hours, because I definitely could.
Same.
Let's get into. I guess, do you want to go moves around the league, or do you want to get into the Wizards?
Moves around the league is far more interesting than the Wizards. So
I agree.
Yeah, man. So we had the Chris Middleton, Kyle Kuzma deal today. I know there's other pieces, but I feel like it's a wash. Kuzma's been really bad, and then you have a situation where Chris Middleton can't play basketball consistently anymore. So
It's old.
Yeah. Let's see. Umano asked, does LeVert for a Hunter trade work? Straight up, no. There's a $6 million difference between the two contracts. So Cleveland would have to throw something in to even it out. But straight up, it would be pretty hard to do. Because Atlanta and Cleveland are both first apron teams right now.
No. We are a luxury. Atlanta is. We're a luxury tax team.
Okay. You're right. I got that wrong.
But if a trade that could work would be Hunter for Georges Niang and LeVert. That gets Cleveland out of the luxury tax. You definitely have to sweeten the pot with picks or Craig Porter or something.
Yeah, because guys have 2 second-rounders this year.
Mm-hmm. And can they trade their first rounders that are traded or like swapped with Utah?
No, Utah can trade them.
Utah did trade them.
Yeah, right. So, but Cleveland cannot trade those.
Okay. Because I was trying to figure it out in my head. They still have a first rounder that they can send. They can send.
Yeah, because Phoenix now has the Cavs pick. Yeah,
and they can send. How does that work? Because the Cavs still have a pick next year.
I'm trying. I'm pulling it up on Tankathon right now, just to kind of get the trade history, the pick history for the future. Because this is the thing Kevin and I were talking about last night. How difficult the NBA makes the draft with things like this. How irritating it is.
Because the way that the pick for next year, Utah has 3 picks next year. They have their own, they have Minnesota's, and they have Cleveland's.
So this is how the Phoenix pick goes this year. Cleveland, Phoenix, Mitchell trade. So the Mitchell trade, Utah gets better of Cleveland, Minnesota. Phoenix gets the other. So no. But
Cavs still have a pick in it. If it was a swap, not 2025. So They have 2025s, but we have a swap in 26.
You're right. Yes.
That also got traded.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We need to have Keith come back on with Kevin and break all this down for us because it's a little confusing. But yes, I do believe you're right. They do have a first they can move. I just don't know exactly what year they can.
I think it's 31.
I think that sounds right. Yeah. Which that feels like it's in forever, but it's really in 6 years.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't know what this team is in 6 years. That's when everybody's extensions are over. Like,
Right. Yeah.
so, yeah, I mean, I think there's a move. I think there's maybe a move or two. I think maybe they move. In my mind, I think they might move more guys than we anticipated, and then replenish with the buyout market.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. Hunter would be nice. I think Hunter would be a really nice fit, but we shall see how that works out. So other than that, should we get back into the I don't know, is there really much to discuss in the Kuzma Middleton trade? I feel like it's kind of like meh. I just saw the Knicks got added to it and they're sending Jericho Sims to the Bucks. So
what picks are like moving?
Let me pull up the Shams again. The Shams timeline. After, if I can find through his like 95 tweets about the Jimmy Butler trade.
It's at 10 a.m., dude.
I know, right? I do crack up that they're like, we have a big 3 in the Bay, and I'm like, let's calm it down.
I know. My wife put in here like Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. That's not going to mesh. I mean, they're going to burn that city down. Just the two of them.
I also cracked up at his image he had of Giannis, Dame, and Kuzma.
Yeah.
One of those is not like the other.
I saw people like, look at that big 2.
Yeah. So the Milwaukee Bucks are trading Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, and a pick swap to the Wizards for Kyle Kuzma, Patrick Baldwin Jr., and second-round draft compensation.
So really a second-round pick.
It's a wash. It's a wash. Yeah. It's a stupid trade. No one got better. It's just, and then Kuzma waived his trade kicker for the Bucks to get more players. So, no, he lessened it. He didn't full on waive it. I don't think we're going to talk about Daniel Tice. I wouldn't be shocked if he is not part of New Orleans pretty soon. I mean, not part of Oklahoma City pretty soon.
Yeah, like I said, that was just a move to get under the tax for the Pelicans.
Bucks got the cast of 2.5 men for Mimana. That's pretty funny. I like that. But the Butler trade is the one everyone's talking about now. So it's confusing because there's like so many moving pieces, but big picture is I think Miami did really well. Andrew Wiggins, PJ Tucker's going back. I think the Heat did well.
I think the Heat did the best you could in that situation. I think they stood their ground. They got, they didn't get taken advantage of. The move doesn't make sense to me for Golden State though, and then they extended him for 2 years.
Yeah, especially I guess that I don't know if this is a Jimmy Butler bluffing move, because you hear the report that last week he told Golden State he's not going to sign an extension, and then you hear the reports yesterday that he's willing to put this past him and report back to the Heat, and then today he's moved. And then you hear the thing that, obviously we've heard the whole time. He's been obsessed with the Suns. He's been turning down deals with other contenders because he wants to play for Phoenix so bad. And then we figure out that's not happening because Kevin Durant doesn't want to go back to Golden State. So Jimmy Butler's going to Golden State now. Yeah, here's the thing I can say about it is I appreciate, while I don't think this makes them significantly better, I do appreciate that they're not just going to just kill the end of Steph Curry's career without going for trying to get better. Like I said, this doesn't make them a title contender to me, obviously. But a consistent playoff team for 2 more years, sure. I mean, anything can happen in the postseason. So,
I mean, I guess, but they're already a first apron team this year. So they're
screwed. They're screwed.
Yeah, they're already limited in what they can do.
Yeah, they're for sure screwed.
I don't see the Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler chemistry working out at all.
Hey, they won a gold medal together.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's different than your livelihood, your NBA career.
Yeah,
I just have visions of Jimmy Butler forcing his way out of Minnesota. Like, I just feel that on top of, because for those that don't know the story, Jimmy Butler is super frustrated with being in Minnesota, took the third stringers and played the first stringers and just annihilated
And then left.
The first stringers and then left. I mean, trash talking his whole way. Like, there were reports that people were legitimately scared about what the hell was going on in that gym. So take that energy and then pair it with Draymond Green punching Jordan Poole in the face at practice.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, this is the same thing with Hard going to the Clippers last year. This is your last chance. If you mess up here, you're done. Like, there's just nothing after this. So for him, I think he probably gets it. Who has he played with as good as Steph Curry in his career? Even this version of Steph Curry. So this is his chance to kind of be part of a system that's won championships. I don't think they're going to win a championship anytime soon. But also, if you're Golden State, you do still have to get rid of guys, and you still have Gary Payton Jr., and you still have Kevon Looney. He also had to move, so they could get better tomorrow too. They could go get a Valanciunas. They could go, a Vucevic. They could go get, just because the Bulls signed Lonzo Ball to an extension does not mean that he's going to stay there. They can still trade him. So there's options for Golden State to kind of keep this going. So, but yeah, I can see the concern about like what you're saying, but I think that those two dudes are going to want to play together just because they're two physical defenders. And they're two guys that when like you get into a playoff series, they're two dudes who are going to do everything they possibly can to win.
Yes, but also no, in the sense of like, has Jimmy Butler ever responded well to getting barked at, especially barked at by a teammate?
I don't know. Yeah, he like played with Joakim Noah and Luol Deng. I mean, like those dudes gave him the business all the time. That's how he learned to be a pro.
I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it. Maybe I'm, looking in the tea leaves or something. But I don't know, dude. Like, it feels like we talk about it all the time. Like, if you have locker room trouble, don't bring Jimmy Butler to your team.
I don't really think they really have locker room trouble anymore, though. Like, Steph was just like, Draymond's my guy. He's not going anywhere. So it's up to you to fit in, or you don't, or like you're not going to play here. So.
Yeah, I guess that's the Patriot way.
The Patriot way. Wow, you went there.
I mean, that's the closest comparison you got, right?
Yeah. So,
like, you play our way or you're out.
Do the Mavs try to go get Kevin Durant tomorrow? Is that the next move?
They should.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the rumor that Kyrie put out there, is that they wanted to pair up together in Boston before.
He said that about AD. I heard that, yeah.
Like, he's like, oh, yeah, I've always wanted to play with me, KD, and AD. We're talking about teaming up together in Boston with a young Jason Tatum. It's like,
thank God
you've literally burned your way out of Boston a year after getting traded there.
Yeah, dude. There's that like clip when he goes back. He plays his first game back there. He's like burning sage around the floor. It's like, all right, something my wife would do.
Don't bash wives. Hey, this is a PSA to wife appreciation. Thank you, Grace, Devin, and Marissa, for letting us do this. Thank you for covering the bases while we talk Cavs.
Yeah, Dad's talking Cavs. That's right. All right, should we just real quick get to the Wizards, because I don't know what their team's going to even look like come Friday, but I feel like it's going to look significantly different than it did this morning.
Yeah, let me pull up. I don't even know who they have left on their team.
They won tonight. They beat Brooklyn in Brooklyn by 17 for their 9th win of the year.
Hustling.
Dude, why has anyone called him for Corey Kispert? Awesome shooter off the bench, like basically Kyle Korver too.
Love Kyle Korver. One of my all-time favorites.
Yeah. Rules.
I don't know, man. I mean, that's an attractive contract too. 25 years old.
Yeah, the only flaw he has is he went to Gonzaga.
You love holding these college guys, like the college over these guys' head.
Yeah, Gonzaga's a bunch of bums. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, they got some pieces that I like. Like, I think Sadiq Bey is a good
Big East
backup.
Kid. Right. Yeah, Big East kid. Exactly.
I think he's a good backup.
I like Saddiq Bey. Yeah, I do.
I liked him in Detroit. Marvin Bagley's not too bad.
He's bad.
Would you take Marvin Bagley off the bench though?
No.
What?
No.
I would take the 6'10" Marvin Bagley over coming off the bench in the 5 spot over probably Georges Niang.
I mean, in that case, I would just go get Rashawn Holmes then.
I mean, how much is Holmes paid?
I don't know. I can't imagine a whole lot.
I mean, 12.5 on Bagley, so it might be a little rich. Holmes is 12.6, so $100,000 difference.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I mean, let's just for S's and G's, let's see what ESPN's likelihood.
92% Cavs.
85. And we'll see how much that changes by the time the game starts.
93 by 7 o'clock on Friday.
Yeah, I anticipate a blowout win.
Though the last time they played, it was Washington hung in there for a little bit. Was it like the third quarter it took for Cleveland to take over? So,
well, the history of the games are 135 to 116 Cavs.
They're not pretty.
87 to 118 Cavs, and then 105 to 115 Cavs. So you're double-digit wins the whole way through.
Yeah, and that's going to continue.
It should continue.
Yeah.
All right. So there's our preview of the Wizards game.
We don't have to be on the roster, so we can't do an in-depth coverage until after the game. So
pretty much. If anything big happens tomorrow, we'll get on for an emergency pod. So yeah, like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on all of our socials. We love interacting with you guys. We love, talking Cavs, either in the comments or Blue Sky or Reddit or X, or doesn't matter what it is. Subscribe and listen and rate and any of your audio formats. We love just kind of talking Cavs and putting content out there. Thank you to the Blue Wire Podcast Network for allowing us to do this. For Kevin Lynch, Tim Daniel, I'm Skylar Wepker. Sound us off.
Go Cavs.